We are looking at the grade 11 RT Prac exam from November 2018, and this is from the Eastern Cape, and we are dealing with question 3 in this video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got quite a big question to deal with here. It's going to take a bit of time, so I hope you're comfortable. Get your neck rested because this is going to be a long video. I've got a funny feeling. I might try to break it up into 2 parts, but let's see how it goes. We're dealing with text file manipulation. Okay, and there's a shopping list that must be generated based on stock quantity. So we currently have a text file called stocklist.txt, and it looks like that. So there's the item name, followed by a hash, followed by the current stock amount. You see it could be a decimal number, followed by the unit of measurement, kilograms or rolls or patties or whatever, followed by the minimum amount quantity and the maximum quantity. Okay, so those are the values. So there's going to be some sort of going through the text file and some sort of extraction. Okay, I'm seeing that. Based on the current stock levels, a shopping list must be generated. Okay, an item must be purchased if the current supply is less than the minimum. So that's the current supply. If it's less than the minimum value, then we must buy more. So in this case, there are no avos, so we must buy. But in this case, the chili sauce, we've got 3 liters of it, and we need to have at least 0.5, so we've got enough. Okay, so that we won't be buying chili sauce, but we need avocados. An item must be purchased. So there you go. All the items must be rounded to the nearest whole number, as you can't buy a portion of an item. Okay, that makes sense. You can't buy half an avo. If the unit is kilograms or bottles. Some of the times it's kilograms like that. That's a bit weird. If it is kilograms or bottles, then the unit must be displayed. But if it's avocados or liters, then no, it mustn't be displayed. Or else no unit must be displayed in the shopping list. The shopping list must be displayed, including a heading. The list must also be stored in a text. Okay, so forget about the storing in a text file for now. Let's just get the whole thing working. So it's going to look something like that, and then at the end there'll be a text file that has something that looks like that as well. Okay, so let's deal with a little bit here. Let's first deal with what we can. Forget about this part. Let's just go through and see if we can generate a shopping list that looks like this. Okay, so remember we only use kilograms or bottles if that is the unit. Okay, so we are dealing with a text file. So let's go to the code. And here we've got the program. I've put the text file over here so we can see what it looks like. So let's go through it bit by bit. First of all, we're dealing with going through a text file. So there is a special algorithm for that. We need variables. So let's call it my file, which is a text file variable. If you're not too sure about how to do this algorithm, then I suggest you go look at other videos that I've got a whole text file course that shows you how to handle text files. So we're going to have 2 variables. I'm not too sure how to do this question yet. I'm just know how to go through a text file, and that's the code I'm writing. It doesn't say anything about error checking, so I'm just going to do it just in case, because sometimes they give marks for it and they don't tell you to do it. So if the file exists, and we're looking at not that list, the stocklist.txt. So if stocklist.txt, if that file does not exist, then this whole program must not do anything else. Just go show message, hey, no file found, whatever message you want to put, and then I'm going to exit the button so that we don't do anything more. Okay, so over here is if the file exists, then we're okay. Okay, so what are we doing? Then we need to assign file. We're going to assign my text file variable, which is my file, to that stocklist.txt. That is the right spelling. We've got it over there. Yep. Assign it. So from this point on, we're not going to refer to the text file name. We're just going to refer to this text file variable. We want to start at the very beginning. We want the pointer to start at the top, like where it is now. So we need to say reset my file, so it goes to the top and we're ready to start. And then we need to say while we are not at the end of that text file, do. So keep doing stuff because we don't know how many items are in that text file. This is the end of the while loop. Let's indent it a bit so that it looks fancy. And for each, we're going to read line from my file into a variable called a string variable called sline. Okay, and then at the end, we must always remember to close my text file. Okay, so we're happy with that. So what happens here, and I'm going to put that code there. So this will go through the text file, assign all the variables, and it will go and fetch that first line. Let's take that salt, for example, and that will now be in sline. After this point, sline will equal to that particular string, if that makes sense. Okay, so what we do over here is we just handle one line of the text file, and this loop will repeatedly do whatever it needs to do for each and every line of the text file. So we just need to pretend, or over here, write code that's going to handle one line of the text file and do what it needs to do for that one line, and this loop that we've done in place will go and do all the rest of the code. Will repeatedly do that for all the other lines of the code. So taking small bits here. That's the first part done. So we've done the going through the text file. Now, once we've got that, we need to actually extract all these different values. Okay, so let's do that. So those are, if we look at the text file, those last values are always integers. I'll keep them. Oh, no, there's a real. So be careful, there are reals there. So let's, just for safety's sake, always use reals. So I'm going to extract 3 reals and 2 strings. So what's our first string? Our first string is the item, and then our second string is the unit, and then our real variables will be the, if you remember from the question, it's the current, it's the min and the max. Okay, so let's go. Our R current, our R min, and our R max. Now, I am just going to extract those values into their different variables. So how do we do that? Well, they're all separated by hashes. So I need to find the position of the hash. I'm going to break it up into little steps. So it's easy. So first things first, we know sline's that. So I'm going to say find the position of the hash. You could do this in 1 line or 2 lines if you want. I'm doing this, breaking it up so you can understand. So in this case, the hash would be position 5. That makes sense. Then we want to copy the item. You see the items first. So S item equals copy from S line, starting at position 1, till the hash back up a little bit. So till the position of the hash minus 1. Because we don't want to go till the hash, we want to go 1 before the hash. So find the position of the hash, boom. So that means that that is going to copy from there to there. And you'll notice that this returns a string. That's a string. That's all good. So let's say, so in that case, it's going to equal to the word salt in the first case. In other cases, it'll be different because the hash will be over there, for example, and it'll copy whole wheat bread rolls. Okay, now we don't actually need this anymore. So I'm going to remove all that little bit there. So I'm going to say, hey, you know what, delete from sline from 1 until that hash. Get rid of that hash all the way up until the hash. So at this particular point, sline will have changed to the following. We're going to just put in this. So it will delete from position 1 till the hash and delete it. So now that's what sline will look like after this code has been done. And we are technically going to do all of this again. Okay, now we must find the hash again because the hash is now at a new position. We can't use the 5 from the previous line because the hash is not at position 5 anymore. It's moved because we deleted the first bit. So you can literally copy this code. That's the beauty of it. Copy it. Just copy and paste it. Find the position of the hash, which in this case would be 1, 2, 3. It would be a position 4. We're going to copy from 1 till the position has minus 1. But in this case, we are copying what value? We're copying the current. So we're not using S item, we're using the current item, the current amount. Okay, so it's going to copy that. But that is not a string. We want it as a real. So this copy thing, we're just going to change it, convert it from what it is. It's a string to a real, a float. So copy it and convert it. Great. So that's going to equal, in this case, the 7.6, and then delete from 1 till the position of the hash. Boom! So that's what it's going to look like. And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to copy and paste again. Boom! In this case, the position of the hash is at position 3. We want to copy into what? We're copying the unit. So do we have a unit variable? Yes, unit. We copy into the unit variable from 1 till the position of the hash, back up a little bit. So that's going to be the kg. So in that case, it's going to be kg in this case. And then we delete from 1. Well, that's actually what our thing looks like. We're going to delete from 1 to the position of the hash. Boom. So that's what S line is going to look like. Fantastic. And remember, kg is a string. That's a string. That's perfect. Works perfectly. Boom. Can you guess what we're going to do next? Yes, we're going to copy and paste again. And this time, the hash is at position 2. We're going to copy from 1 to the position hash, but this we are storing into the min variable, rmin. But rmin, so we want to copy that 1 in this case. But remember, that is going to be some sort of real value. This is going to return in a string, so we copy from a string to a float. Copy what we want, get that 1, convert it to a float, even though it's a whole number, put it into rmin, and delete. So it'll look like this. So we'll delete from 1 to the position of the hash and gone. Now, the trick, the last one, the last value, do you see there's no hash? We don't need to find the position of the hash and copy it. Whatever the last value is will be left over by it like it is. You can see there is no hash at the end. So for the last value, and this is the trick, the last value you don't copy and paste, you simply say R max is equal to whatever is in S line, whatever's left over. But in this case, remember, that's a number, that's a real, it's currently a string that we want to put into a real, so we convert it from what it is, a string, to what we want it to become, a float. Okay, so what we've done now is we've extracted all the values into those different variables. Okay, whew. Now that we've done that, let's go to the next part. This is a very long question. Okay, based on the current stock levels, a shopping list must be generated. An item must be purchased. Okay, first of all, let's just get the headings right. So we want shopping list and a space there. So let's just do that. So remember, get as many marks as you can. We're not going to do that inside the loop. We're going to do that at the top. So in that rich edit, I'm assuming it's a rich edit. Yes, we're going to clear everything. We're going to put in a nice little rich edit. Lines dot add. We're going to add the word shopping list. Was that what they wanted? Shopping list. There we go. All in capitals. Shopping list. And then I'm going to add a blank line. Okay, so we've got something that looks like that. Now we're going to put in what we must order, only if we need to order that item. Now they said 33 for that first one, which was the whole wheat brown rolls. If we look here, okay, so let's look at salt. Salt is more than the minimum, so we don't need salt. But here with bread rolls, we've 15, we need at least 24, so we need to order 48 minus the 15. So we're seeing the logic here. So we first check if our current is less than our min, and if it is, then we must do the following. We must take the max minus what we have and put that in. Okay, so inside here, once we extracted everything, when are we doing this? We are only doing this if our current amount is less than the min amount. Then we need to do all of this stuff. What are we doing? Well, we need to calculate the amount to order. So the amount to order, let's make a real variable called R to order. And R to order is equal to our max amount minus what we currently have. That makes sense. Let's have a look. They said 33 for all, so 48 minus 15 is 33. That is correct. So that would give me the 33. Okay, but they said it must be rounded up to the whole number. So that's only if there's like a decimal, if it must be rounded up. So we're only going to do that like in this case. You see there's 0.5, that's fine. Okay, so how do we do that? So we're only going to round up the ones that have like decimal values because we can't, we don't want it to round down. You notice that we don't want it to go down. It must always go up if possible. So we're going to use a seal function. So what I'm going to do is this. Let's work out the to order. Okay. If the R2 order has a decimal value, if R2 order, how do I find if it's got a decimal value? Well, that's frac. If the frac value of it, that will return the decimal value. If it's a whole number, frac will be a 0. But if it's not equal to 0, that means it's 0 point something. If that's the case, then we must say R2 order is equal to whatever R2 order is at the moment, but we want to seal it. I think I spelled it wrong. Seal just buffs it up to the nearest whole number. Let's see if that works. I think that would work. They'll just make sure, like if it's a 5.2, it'll make it a 6. It won't run it down to 5, it'll run up to 6. The sealing version of it. Floor goes to the bottom, seal goes to the top. It's almost like a round up and a round down. Okay. So that's to determine if it must. So we only change it if it's a decimal number. Otherwise, we can keep it like it is. Okay, so we're happy with keeping it like it is. That's fine. Okay, oh, this is long. Okay, item must be supplied, whole number, boom. Okay, so if the unit is kilograms or bottles, we must add it to the list, otherwise it's not. So you see the two options. We either put in the item, the quantity and the item, or we put in the quantity, the unit, and the item. So it's only if there is the word kilogram. I don't know if they've realized that sometimes the word kilograms is spelled in full. As you can see, where did we see it? We saw it there, kilograms, and then there's a kg. So are we looking for the word kg, kilograms, or bottles? Okay, so that's our three components. So there is options. So if the unit field equals to the word kg, or if S unit is equal to the word kilograms, let's make it like it is in the text file. Let's double check what it is in the text file. Kilograms, there we go. Or if S unit is equal to the word bottles. And remember, because we're using or, we must use brackets around my criteria. If those are all like that, then note that we are still in this begin end. No, we are not. We're not in that end. I need to move this down a bit, because this is only if we want to find something for the shopping list. So I'm putting this in here. Remember, this is the end of the if. This is all what must happen if we have found something that we don't have enough of. So we work out how much we must order, and then we say, okay, well, now that we know how much we must order, we must say, if it's a unit, we must display in the rich edit .lines.add. In this case, we are adding the amount to order. Okay, so R to order plus a space plus the unit, because in this case it's the unit that we want to display. So the unit plus another space plus the item that must be ordered, which is our S item variable. Okay, that's what we must do if it's a kilogram, kilograms, or bottles. But remember, this is a variable, not that one. We want this one. It must be a float to string. It's a float. We want to convert it to a string. We don't need to do any special formatting because we know that it'll be a whole number, hopefully. Hopefully, let's hope, let's see. Otherwise, we'll just round it. So that's if it is a unit of kilogram. If it's not, then we just display it exactly like it is, except we don't add the unit. So we do everything exactly the same, but we're just going to take this unit out. So if it's not kilogram, kilograms, or bottles, then we just have the amount plus the item. Okay, I think that's correct. And then is there anything else at the bottom? And then we'll do this at the end. Let's double check. Let's first get it working. Okay, let's see if it generates that text file the same way, and then end the if, move on. There we go. So all of this will happen for each line of the text file. And this if statement over here will only happen, it'll only start displaying things if the current amount is less than the min amount. Woo! Intense. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yes, 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 yes. Rika, it is correct. Okay. I'm going to stop this video now, and then in the next video, we'll look at how do we modify this code in order to handle a text file or to write all this data to a text file. That video was to be continued, and if you want to see the second part of this exciting movie about text files, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and remember, don't do it the long way, do it the Mr. Long way.